Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we want to take a look at the Clanwarleague, which just happened in Tribe Academy, but we're playing there as Tribe Gaming because we have right now so many players testing and building base and helping with that everything, which means we don't really have time to actually invest into the Clanwarleague, especially because there's no reason to invest time right now, except that, well, you're in the game in this one tab, but that's basically it. So right now we're number 3, but the season hasn't finished yet because if you guys can see over here, this season is still going on. And we're still really close to the first clan. We're facing right now the number 2 clan in this list. And so far, I don't want to jinx it already, we are winning. But well, this could change, and the number 1 clan right now is already they're going crazy. They have 4 triples already, so it's really decent over there. We have, let me check, we have 7 attacks less than them, and they have 15 stars more than us, which means we need at least 2 triples, I think, because we won't catch them on percentage, because the issue is for us that if you see this, like 25 stars, we have a couple of wars where we actually swagged our attacks because the players didn't even know they were on the roster, etc. So again, like in this war, we swagged a bunch of hits as well. So it's kind of tricky right now. But well, it's only for the medals in the end ranking. So let's check out a couple of attacks. And the first one is going to be Pekka Smash. You guys know that I'm always, nearly always, hating on the Pekka Smash users. That's a spam strategy, and I don't know, that's not skill based, blah blah blah. Guys, whatever I'm saying, use this strategy because it is super strong. Obviously, there are strategies out there, for example, Sui Lalo, Queen Charge Lalo, stuff like this, which is really strong as well. It might be the strongest in the game. But if you compare those strategies to Pekka Smash is way more simple than Sui Lalo, for example, to execute. And compared, Pekka Smash is pretty much similar strong, even though it's kind of unpredictable, but for most of you guys, it might be the perfect strategy. So use the strategy which is working and not the strategy which is looking the coolest maybe. At some point, you just need to get the triples in to carry your clan. And if it's Pekka Smash, then it's Pekka Smash. Don't care if someone is saying that's a spam strategy. If you triple them, they can do Sui Lalo how much they want to do it. If they don't triple, it's it doesn't matter if they use a skill strategy or not. Use the strategy which is working for you. And that's for quite some people, Pekka Smash, which is super strong. On this one, he's just pretty much ignoring the town hall. He's just doing his Pekka Smash straight onto the base. And after this, he can deploy the Slammer onto the town hall to secure the 2nd star. So let's take a look at how it works, and the big problem which he has right now is that his troops are splitting. The Pekka are getting rotated away on the right side with this tornado trap, which is a little bit unfortunate, but this means that all of the bowlers are dying in the core, and this means this rage over here is kind of swagged as well because it was meant to be for the bowlers. But this means we can now take a look at why Pekka Smash is so strong. Obviously over here, the Slammer is taking out the tunnel, but we don't want to take a look at that. We want to take a look at this. We have 4 Pekkas still being alive, and we have the healers right now still being alive, which means those 4 Pekka will finish this wall and will keep walking for a bit with full health because they are grouping up. Pekka tend to always stay on top of each other, which makes it really hard to actually tell how many Pekka are alive. But this means as well that the healers and the area of effect of their healing can actually heal all of them, and only 1 Pekka died over this time, which means we have still 3 Pekka alive. And if you think, yeah, this was a close one, and actually this attack looks really close, but if you think about, you have 3 Pekka alive, a couple of wizards, which means round about 80 troop space, something like that, a little bit more I think, but just let's say 80 troop space. If you compare this with, for example, with the Hawk Rider attack, and you have 80 troop space alive, which means, well, 18 Hawks roundabout, this is getting way more crazy, and it looks way more overpowered. So this is why Pekka Smash looks kind of, I don't know how to say that, but like kind of close in the end nearly always. But if you compare this housing space, it's getting kind of obvious that it's most of the time an overkill. So let's take a look at the next attack, which is going to be Mark, and he is taking out this base, which is kind of popular right now because it's a qualifier base. A lot of people are running it right now. I think we saw it once, at least twice, if not 3 times, just this week. So yeah, if you can triple this, you're really doing great. So let's check out how he's doing it. He's first trying to charge into this section of the base, taking out this archer tower with his loons. And then the goal pretty much of this attack is to take this out, because he can reach from the compartment the town hall. And this means that he can use his Hawk Riders for the back end. And even though I'm always saying, okay, if you won't get the eagle with your charge, try to have at least 3 heal spells normally. But because he's going into the eagle that early, 2 heal spells are totally fine. So let's check out how he's doing. And another issue is that this Expo is shooting at him non-stop. That's super annoying for him. But you guys can see he has a lot of rages left, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. So 2 freezes still left, getting to the town hall, but now the warden and the eagle are starting to shoot at his queen, which is getting kind of scary. He's trying to freeze the enemy queen, but I think he should have just used the queen ability, because he has to use the queen ability now. I think she actually could have survived. I don't know if that queen ability was needed. But now the Hawk Riders are coming in with an early warden ability. And now a couple of more Hawk Riders are coming in to get out of the first group into the core, into the eagle. Because this means they will dodge the eagle shots. And you guys can see that the eagle shots are hitting nothing. And that's kind of crucial. On this side of the base, we are seeing the queen with the freeze. And a supportive hawk with the wizard, which is clutch over here. Taking out the enemy queen, which is enemy king, which is really nice. And then the Hawk Riders are finishing up most of the damage in the base, which means the queen can finish up the rest and triple this base. So nicely done by Mark. All of the traps are in the back end, because most of the people try to protect the town hall with the setup of this base, but he's nicely trying to avoid this. So nicely done, and another triple. So the next one is going to be dragons, because a couple of clans are running those meta bases, and I want to tell you guys, or show you guys, what you should try to avoid to do so. So a base like this looks really meta, it looks really solid, and I think it might be even one of the qualifier bases. But since the last couple of changes, we had a couple of changes to the dragons, especially to their health, which means dragons right now are super strong. I mean, I did so many videos about that. You guys should know by now how strong dragons are. But before this change, it was all about defending the queen charges, because that was one of the main threats to bases. This is why people started to have centralized expos, which were set to ground, just to avoid this queen charge, because as soon as the queen is getting close to the core, you could just was too much damage. You couldn't get through there. And this means we had those centralized ground expos. But with the dragons, those ground expos are completely trash. Maybe you can use 1, but as soon as you're using 2 ground expos, you're just asking to get air spammed. If it's not dragons, then it could be just I don't know, Suilad or whatever. But this dragon army is by far the easiest way to do so. Now, and he's still having his bats alive, coming in now, and 4 freezes, which means he's starting off with the first freeze and the second freeze onto the wizard tower. And from this point on, he can just non-stop freeze the Inferno Tower with the air defense. And this means this is going to be an easy triple for him. Nicely done by Exorcist. And this is going to be the next triple. But that's not enough, because those guys used a lot of meta bases, I would call them, because they were really strong before the balance changes. So the next one is going to be, I have to check the number 10. I want to click on number 10. Thank you, game. So the next one is, once again, we have this double ground expo. And what are they doing over there? Yes, they're next to the queen, which means normally if you wanted to queen charge Hawk Riders, queen charge Lalo, whatever, you need to take out the enemy queen. That's a simple rule. To protect the queen, you just have to ground expose, and this means it's getting really hard to actually queen charge the queen because there's so much damage around her. Sorry. But this means with the new meta, we have the dragons coming in, and dragons just ignoring the ground expose. In addition to that, we have this kind of dead zone around the town hall, which means with all of the trash buildings on the right and on the left, we have the heroes taking them out really easily, and the dragons are getting really nice path through the base. And still keep in mind, this is just the dragons. He has still 7 bad spells left, and they are coming in in a second because he took already out most of the splash damage. One multi-infernal tower is still alive, but that's no problem. And still the hound popped, so it's already going the worst scenario which is possible. Bats are coming in, another freeze, really nicely timed. And if you're freezing, he throws the ground expo, which was a bit unnecessary, but we don't care. It was all about if you guys are using a freeze spell onto a wizard tower or an a multi-infernal tower, try to freeze something else than the air defense if it's possible. For example, like expos, maybe archer tower, stuff like this, because air defenses are shooting too slow if you want to protect your bats. And it doesn't really matter if it's an archer tower or air defense, bats are always one hit, which means if you're freezing an archer tower, that's better because an archer tower is shooting faster. So that's why you should always try to aim for freezing stuff like this and not an air defense. But once again, if your dragons are coming in, if you want to protect your dragons, then obviously you have to freeze those air defenses. So this was the last dragon attack, but we still have a dragon attack. We still have an attack to go, and that's going to be a minor attack, which are getting kind of rare because they're really easy to bait. And actually, completely honest, they're not that strong anymore. Right now with, I don't know, the heroes are dealing so much damage and it's getting more and more difficult to actually find a really good queen charge entry for miners. And most of the time it's just better to use dragons. Dragons and miners are pretty similar when it comes down to how you have to set up a base for them to make them actually work. So let's see how he's doing. I think on this base, by the way, the dragon attack would have done the same job. So let's see how he's doing it. First thing on how to defend those attacks is you need something in the second layer of the base which is dealing damage. And in this area there's nothing which can shoot the queen. Obviously the enemy queen can shoot her, but she's jumping onto the outside, which means after his own queen took out the enemy queen, there's no damage anymore, which means if there would have been an expo, the expo could shoot. Damn it, today it's really hard to actually talk. The expo could shoot non-stop on the queen without the queen itself reaching the expo, which is crucial on this one. But if you don't have any of the defense in the second row, this makes it really easy for queen charges like this. It's a little bit unlucky right now with the timing, with the enemy queen and at the same time the skeleton, but it doesn't matter. The job has been done. The pathing has been created for the queen. All of this is taken out. At this point, the slammer the ram is taking out this part, which means it's really nice pathing for his miners. And like I said, I think if this would have been a dragon attack, it would have been totally fine as well, especially with the slammer for the air defense. But yeah, he's opting into miners, which are in my opinion not as safe because you can really easily bait them with ground skeletons, spring traps, etc. You see, there are no spring traps at all. I don't know where this guy has his spring traps. Now one miner got springed away, which is not a really good rate. So yeah, I don't know where the spring traps on this base are, but if you set up your spring traps correctly, miners are not that strong anymore, sadly. So this is going to be the last triple for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will obviously let you guys know how our season finished tomorrow or the day after tomorrow maybe. It's really close right now. Right now we're looking decent, but like I said, we need at least 2 more triples to actually get the first spot back, because we won't get them on percentage because of all of the swagged attacks. But yeah, let me know how you guys did so far in the Clanwarleague. Did you guys finish already your season, or is your season still running? So let me know whether you got promoted or demoted, and I will see you guys in the next video.